clouds and sky, let's dance for a while. Heaven can wait, we're only watching the skies. Hoping for the best, but expecting the worst. Are you gonna drop the bomb or not?
Welcome to Book Time with Ryan. I am Ryan, and today I will be talking about Don Winslow's City in Ruins, a novel. I am joined by my new special co-host who is biting my feet and peeing places, barking. All right. Yeah. Just peeing. It smells like pee. I spray it. I clean it. And then she pees again. So if anybody wants to potty train, house break, I think she's chewing on my... What are you chewing on? My chair. She's chewing on my chair. All right. Obviously, I'm exhausted from all of the biting, and there we go. Now she's playing with something she's supposed to play with. All right, so I did a video recently that discussed, in part, my time in Canada. And I forgot to mention she's running around. And okay. You want to come up here? Sammy, come here. All right, here we go. All right, here's Sammy. Sammy. All right. Oh, ow. See, she's very chill, but often, every so often, she gets into attack mode. And she has very sharp teeth and a very short mouth. So when she bites, she connects with all of her teeth. Yeah, and it's not pleasant. So she might not be here the whole time. She might not be here the whole time. Ouch. But she is cute. Hey, look at you. Who's that? Uh-huh. Okay. Oh. Okay, thank you for being here. You may go away now. That was painful. All right, so we were in Canada, and I mentioned some things we did, and I showed some pictures. What I forgot to say was on our way up, I realized that I forgot a toothbrush because I have an electric toothbrush. And when we were in Niagara Falls, Diane wanted to see Walmart. We wanted to see how it was different, if it was different. By the way, like, Canadian Walmart, not as good. Not as good, at least the one we saw. Maybe other ones are better. Drugstores, pretty good. We liked them. And one thing that I didn't like was all of the McDonald's M's, the little gold arches, had a maple leaf in the middle of it. What gives? It's an American company. Why do you need the maple leaf? Just an M. It's an American company. Just take your maple leaf off of it and just leave it golden arches. That's what people recognize. That was the only thing I kept seeing. I was like, why? There were other things that were a little different, but we went to Walmart and I was like, you know what? I gotta get a toothbrush. I had a toothbrush from the hotel, really bad toothbrush, but it did the job-ish, kind of. So we went to Walmart and I found the weirdest looking toothbrush. And I don't know if you've seen it. Here it is. It is a charcoal toothbrush. Charcoal. And it's in French. That's French, I think. Yeah. It's weird because it's also backwards when I'm looking at it. Oral-B, charcoal, or charbon. This thing's completely black. How it just looks cool. I didn't know what the charcoal hole thing was, so I was like, you know what? That looks awesome. I'm gonna buy that. I've never seen that before. Then I got back to where we were staying. We had an Airbnb. I think it was Airbnb. And I Googled charcoal toothbrush, and I found out that it doesn't have the American Dental Association seal of approval, because apparently it does whiten your teeth, but it also does irreparable harm to your enamel. Once you lose your enamel, it doesn't come back. I was actually looking at, so this is the toothbrush. Then I got another one later from the drugstore. I was like, oh, where's the ADA seal of approval thing? It's Canadian. Of course they don't have the American Dental Association seal of approval. We bought both of these in Canada. So, and obviously I haven't used this. I just kept using the other one. But, yeah. So I didn't open it. I brought it back. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is like contraband. What if they asked me at the border, are you bringing back any fruit or vegetables? No. Are you bringing back toothbrushes that aren't ADA approved? Yes, I did. I brought it back. Didn't use them. I brought this up to somebody today, and they said, oh, we saw those at Walmart here. Are they? Now I need to go check it out. I discovered it in Canada. But if this has been a phenomenon in the United States and I just wasn't aware of it, I'd be really disappointed. So maybe these aren't as cool. Okay, but they're in English and French, so that's neat. And so are these ones. So that's not that special. Boom. 7 minutes in about, and that's all I've talked about. I've been bitten by my co-host. First time I've been bitten by a co-host. And we've talked about toothbrushes in Canada. But we are going to talk about Don Winslow's City in Ruins, a novel. This is the final book that Don Winslow is doing. And that makes me sad because I like him as an author. I haven't read all of his books, but I've read a lot of them. Most of them are down on this shelf. In fact, all the ones I have are down on this shelf. I have done reviews of the other two books because this is the final book in the Danny Ryan trilogy. And the other ones were City on Fire was the first one, and then City of Dreams. So I have done a review of City on Fire about 2 years ago. Really enjoyed that. I gave it 5 stars. I think it made my top 10 list for the year. City of Dreams, I think, made my top 10 list maybe last year. I think so. And I've done a review for City of Dreams, so check that out. And this is the final review in the trilogy, the Danny Ryan trilogy, City in Ruins. This takes place mostly in the late 90s, 97, 98. And we are looking at really most of the action is in, if not all, well, no, most of the action, the vast majority of the action in this book takes place in Las Vegas. And check out the other 2 reviews on the first 2 books so you can understand what has happened. But our main character is Danny Ryan. Danny Ryan was originally from Rhode Island or Massachusetts? Rhode Island. I mean, it took place in Rhode Island. I'm guessing it was from Rhode Island. First 2 books, one was mostly in Rhode Island, and then he escaped from Rhode Island and ended up on the West Coast. And then we have a lot of the West Coast stuff. And now we are kind of in the middle-ish part of the country in Nevada, in Las Vegas. 97, 98, the strip has been cleaned up of a lot of its organized crime. Danny Ryan comes from an organized crime. He's a made man, an organized crime family. He's not the family member, but he is family of some of the made men from this mob in Rhode Island and Providence. And he's Irish. Danny Ryan. Surprise? You surprised that's Irish? So in the first 2 books, he gets out. There's this war between the Italians and the Irish, and he gets out of there. And I honestly forgot what happened in the second one. I probably should have gone back to look at that review. In this one, the third and final book, Danny Ryan is a senior guy in Las Vegas. He owns a number of properties. He's a silent investor, silent partner, basically, in a Terra Group, that owns some of the hotels and casinos on the Strip. And he's approaching it a different way, really more of the hotel focused and less on the games, hoping that better service keeps people coming back for more, and that they'll play games wherever they can, but they want good service where they feel like they're important. He has a son. He has a mother. His dad died. He has guys that came from Rhode Island with him that are kind of part of his crew, but he's really tried to put the organized crime stuff in the rearview mirror, and he wants to be clean, and he wants to raise money for these casinos the right way, no skimming, and he wants that to be his past. But it doesn't stay the past, because he gets into it with another member of the community, kind of his big rival. The rival is Vern Weingart. Vern is generally a decent guy. He doesn't... Oh, look at that, the foil. Every time I get one of these books, I do this, because it flashes, and I'm totally distracted by it. Vern Weingart has a little bit of organized crime buy-in, and he's also kind of paying off this family that's from Detroit, but it's really just to keep things safe. Well, Ryan's group and Weingart's group kind of go to war over this final piece of property on the Strip, and Weingart has it kind of all wrapped up, and then Ryan swoops in and has he has connections with prior relationships with the person who's selling the land and the building there. And he basically convinces him to sell it to Danny Ryan instead of Vern Weingart. And Vern Weingart gets really angry and goes after Danny Ryan. And really, a lot of this book is misunderstandings. It's amazing how much of the trouble in this book comes from members of crews who do their own thing and don't listen to their bosses. And people reading into something that's done the wrong way, taking offense, and trying to get back at the person, and then, having that cycle continue as, I want to say it's like one-upmanship, but it's back and forth. Eventually, organized crime is brought back into it. We have Danny Ryan's crew, which he assembles again. Most of them are kind of in the area. One comes from San Diego, and they're really there to protect his family. And an associate called Joshua Stern, who's from the Stern Group, which is a multi-billion-dollar company that has decided to work with the Terra Group. Vern Weingart tried to buy out Terra Group because they went public, and they were trying to do a hostile takeover, and to kind of swoop in the White Knight was Stern. So Stern's grandson, Josh, is a partner with Danny Ryan. And from there, we really just have organized crime coming in, especially Detroit, with some backing from other families, and a number of killings. We have kind of a side story of what's going on back in Rhode Island with Moriarty Jr. I think Peter Moriarty Jr., who killed his stepfather and his mother, and him going through a court trial. And then other kind of remnants of what happened in the first two books, kind of being called to account. Danny also has to worry in Nevada about gaming commissions coming after him and figuring out if he has any organized crime history, because he could lose his license. And there's a lot of death. And everyone dies eventually. Some people die naturally, and some people die because people kill them. It ends really, we're looking at 1998, 1999, or 1997, 1998. It ends though in 2023, and it's basically a special being done on Danny Ryan's son, Ian. Danny's dead. Ian is, I think, a billionaire at this point. Took over Terra Group, and then also merged with Stern Group, and he's a billionaire. He bought out the kind of Rhode Island cottages, and maybe in Narragansett, I forgot where they were, that Danny Ryan stayed in when he was younger with his wife. His wife died of cancer in, I think, the first book. Yeah, Danny Ryan's wife died of cancer in the first book. He dated somebody that was a movie star in the second book. She killed herself. And in this book, he has a new love interest, Eden, and she is a therapist, but she, spoiler alert, lives. Is it with him or not? You just have to read to find out. Ian, on the other hand, is clean. He has gone into the family business, but the family business for him is not organized crime. It is the hospitality business. It's hotels, gaming, casinos, and the final chapter is really a look at, he's being interviewed, and it's about why he bought these three cottages in Rhode Island that are really, below what a billionaire would buy, but it's because it's this important historical piece. It's really where he came from, because Ian was born in Rhode Island, even though he was kind of run away with his father when he was a baby. And that's it. I gave it 5 stars. Don Winslow does it again. It started out a little slow, and I think part of that is because I was trying to remember what happened. I mentioned this in my review of the Angel of Indian Lake, that I wish that you would get kind of a recap at the beginning of a trilogy book, so you can remember what's important to remember from a year or two back in the series. That would be awesome. I thought it started a little slow because it was really him being clean and trying to stay clean. And by the end of it, we were getting 1 or 2 or 3 page chapters where there was a lot of violence and a lot of back and forth. And it really picked up. It was, I didn't want to stop reading it. So 5 stars, loved it. It's kind of sad because Don Winslow has said that he's retiring from writing after this. So this was his final book. I know there are other books that Don has written that I still have to read, so that's an option. But I've just really enjoyed so much of what I've read from Don that it's kind of hard to see it end. So Don, don't feel like you need to stick to that. You can come back and write some more. It's cool. It doesn't have to be Danny Ryan. It can be anybody. I just love the way you write, and I don't want you to go. So, Don Winslow, City in Ruins. Highly recommend the entire trilogy. I wouldn't start with this one. Start with the first in the trilogy, City on Fire. Read the second one, City of Dreams. And then finish it off with City in Ruins. You will not be disappointed. Thank you. Now go brush your teeth. Not with this. Something like this. And floss. And enjoy yourself. Thanks for being here today. I'm sorry that Sammy could not spend more time with us today, but she was biting a lot and she was barking. She's a little wild child right now, and this is before she's going to slow down and get all cuddly, which we really love. You got to take the bites with the cuddles, so at least till she gets a little bit older. But it was nice to have her at the beginning, even though she peed in my office. Fortunately, Noelia has not peed in my office, so between the 2 special co-hosts, Noelia is a lot easier on me and the study, and generally contributes much more than Sammy. But Sammy has a squishy face, so there's that. Also, Noelia doesn't bite. That's good. That's it. Thanks for being here today. I will talk to you later. Bye.
Let us die young or let us live forever. We don't have the power, but we never say never. Sitting in a sandpit, life is a short trip. The music's for the sad man. Can you imagine when this race is won? Turn our golden faces into the sun. Praising our leaders, we're getting in tune. The music's played by the madman.